Welcome back to the Click Down. I'm your host, Steve Beals, and today I'm being joined by a few globally dispersed friends for a discussion on Citrix ITSM Adapter Service. So I'd like to welcome Wendy, Amir, and Anton to the Click Down. Guys,
Hey,
welcome.
how's it going?
Steve.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Good. So I'm excited for our discussion today. Yeah, I'm glad you guys were able to do it. I know it's early for some, later for others. But I am excited for our discussion today. But before we dive in, let's just go around and have you guys introduce yourselves to our ClickDown audience.
Thanks, Steve. So my name is Wendy Gay. I'm the Global Product Specialist Director, and I'm based in Dublin. I've worked with Citrix Technologies for over 25 years, and I'm really excited to be here.
Hey, hello, this is Amir Trujillo. I'm a product specialist engineer. I work under Wendy's organization. I joined Citrix almost 5 years ago, and has been a great experience. And before that, I was a Citrix admin and Citrix customer, wearing that hat for another 15 years. So a lot of fun. There are other different versions of the product and different technologies. So glad to be here with you guys.
Yeah, great. Antoin Carroll is my name. Yeah, so I'm actually coming on now my 8th year working now in Citrix. I've worked in support and lead roles in support and then customer success before moving across to the product specialist team here and based in Dublin with Wendy and Amir.
Awesome. So Wendy, I have you beat. I'm at 26 years working with Citrix Technologies.
I was just being
close. So that's exciting.
Excellent. So we've both been around the houses then, I think.
That's great. Yes, we have. So I'm going to kick off today's discussion with really just a basic question, because going into this and looking at the topic, it's something I really haven't had experience using, right? And I'm sure some of our listeners are in the same boat of, hey, I've heard about this like service, but what really is the Citrix ITSM service? So if I'm a Citrix administrator, and looking at this, what really is Citrix ITMS Adapter service, and what are the benefits of using it?
That is a really good question, Steve. So ITSM Adapter really allows Citrix and ServiceNow technologies to integrate with each other. So, and what are the benefits of doing that? So I think it really benefits both admins and end users. It really empowers our end users to use self-service functionality via a virtual agent. And we'll probably go into a lot more detail later. And what that will do is it will allow us to do things like resetting sessions, allow end users to power manage VDIs, request desktops, and even request applications. It also then allows admins to give tailored knowledge-based articles, which are very much kind of customized for their own environments, to those end users as well, and have those end users the ability to access them at their fingertips. Then from an admin side, we have the ability to reduce help desk tickets. We all know help desk tickets cost money. We can use those self-service capabilities to drive down the cost of those self-service or those tickets. And we can also then provide admins those out-of-the-box workflows to enable things like automated tasks such as desktop provisioning, alerting and notifications on your Citrix infrastructure into ServiceNow. For users that are, and allow you to then remove those users that are no longer active in your organization and save money. I know like cost is always, high on every organization's list of to-dos, and we can make sure that we're not having any infrastructure available that could be powered down, so we can automate those actions.
Costs are definitely, I think, top of mind of everybody, especially
I
these
think
days.
so.
And it seems like it's a pretty powerful service. Thinking about it, if I'm an organization that today doesn't subscribe to ServiceNow, is the ITSM adapter service something I can't use?
Yeah, good question, Steve. Yes. So ServiceNow is required for the integration with ITSM Service Adapter. What I would say, however, there is a tech preview now coming out shortly now on a new automated service that allows some automation workflows to be built into other third-party applications as well. But yeah, so just watch this space on that one.
Okay, great. And so I heard you mention automation. So and I'm pretty sure, Amir, I've seen you working on a few things around automation. So that we can do for customers. So how does automation fit in with ITSM?
Yeah, that this automation, it's becoming very popular, especially, we have to reduce management time, be more productive, and be uh, proactive at the same time. So with this automation with ServiceNow, you can create your custom workflows that will allow you to save time, have a better management of your resources from the Citrix standpoint, and by you know doing this integration with ServiceNow and Citrix and utilizing the workflow designer from the ServiceNow standpoint, will give you access to all the APIs that we have on the ITSM service, and basically that's not a limit for the Citrix administrator to create any custom workflow. So out of the box, we provide some automated task that the end user is going to be able to easily adopt. And depending on the organization, the customer can create a specific task, either if it's for the end user standpoint or to optimize these workflows with API calls, with scheduled tasks, with generating reports, and so forth. So automation, it's all over the place right now, especially with this new hot topic that it's the artificial intelligence and all the virtual agent stuff that we are going to be discussing in this episode.
Chat
One
GTP,
thing
right?
on that, Amir, what
Everything,
I really
everything. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
it, exactly. And I know, Amir, one thing you can do is design and decide which workflows require approval or not, so you can kind of have that flexibility also, right?
Yeah, exactly. Having these workflows gives you the chance to say, I know this specific task to be pre-approved, so I don't have to wait as an end user to complete all the process. It's going to be, if I want to have access to an application or a desktop, it's going to be in a matter of minutes instead of all the approval process. In the other hand, if we are managing some resources with high cost, we can trigger uh, to say this is used for, I need it for this specific project, it's going to be for this amount of time, and so forth. So that's what Wendy, it's the idea, Wendy. It's having full control over your resources, either if it's pre-approved or have to be approved on a budget basis.
And the best example there, I think, is applications and desktops, as you mentioned, Mir. That ability to be able to go in and select because of the integration, ITSM and ServiceNow. ServiceNow within the admin portal, you can go in, you can select specific applications you want to make available to specific users, and you just a little tick box to make it available. So when they have a drop down option on the end user side, that application
Yeah.
or desktop
So,
will come up.
and you,
So relatively easy to figure out.
right, and you know what? The beauty of this is that you can utilize ITSM service in any Citrix cloud environment, either if it's on premises or cloud. It's not a limitation. In one hand, you automatically have discover your DAS environment on the Citrix Cloud dashboard. And if you have an on-premises site, you can do a site aggregation on your DAS console and have full access to your on-premises resources. So that's one of the benefits that we have with this integration. It's for all customers.
Yeah, I mean, it
That
definitely sounds like a powerful service. It's funny, like as I'm listening to to you talk about it, I just think back to the times I was in the field as a consultant and as an SE, and I, working with customers who actually created their own systems that did exactly this, right? That did all this automation, that they were writing it internally. I mean, and this is going back 10 years even in seeing some of this. So to see like this is a service that we are actually now, integrating with ServiceNow, it's pretty neat.
And just to add there, Steve, on the back of that, like once it's integrated, once that integration piece is done, these out of the box workflows are good to go. They're ready. There's no customization of them there. For example, the reset session, that's all good to go from an end user perspective.
Yeah.
Once they have access to the service
So
portal.
from a licensing perspective, then on both Citrix side and ServiceNow side, what's required?
It's a great question. That's one of the questions that we have received for all our customers. It's from a Citrix standpoint, anything that you have on DAS Premium or Premium Plus, ITSM adapter or is a service is included. And from the ServiceNow standpoint, anything that comes with the orchestration feature, it's supported. We have some different options, kind of the integrated hub license type or the automation engine professional. That's what we have so far. That information from ServiceNow.
Okay, what if I'm a so you mentioned before Citrix DAS in Citrix on premises. If I'm just a Citrix Virtual Apps and Desktop customer, I have an on premises site, and I'm not looking to move to DAS today. Is this a service that I could still utilize?
Through site aggregation, Steve, you can do it through workspace site aggregation and adding it in that way.
Yeah.
So what about? Go ahead, Wendy.
No,
yeah,
you're
ahead.
fine. I think that's one of the good points Anton brings up there is that, regardless of whether you're on-prem or in cloud, so if we're living in that hybrid world, Steve, we can still make the best use of site aggregation to ensure that we're able to feed that data into ServiceNow. So while it is a cloud-based service, it absolutely supports on-premises and cloud deployments. So I think that's something that's really, really useful. And we see that in the POCs that we're working on as a team. There's a huge amount of interest in making sure that we integrate 2 to 3 different sites within the Citrix infrastructure and feeding them into a single ServiceNow instance. So they have a single management control plane of their ServiceNow, and they have multiple Citrix environments feeding into that.
Okay, excellent. Okay, it's good. That's good to know that's something that we can do. What about interest in this service? Obviously, you guys are dealing with and working with customers every day. Are you seeing an increased interest in it? And if so, why do you think that is?
Yeah, great question. And short answer is yes. Lately, and thinking about this year, and with all the enhancement, new features that we have released for this ITSM service, customers started becoming more interested of, what, I already have service now, and I have Citrix licensing. So what can I do as a customer? What don't I start automating stuff, saving money, reducing the time that the help desk is taking to resolve issues? And historically, the first use case that the customer is asking for is the session reset. So these more interested customers are seeing more features every day with the automation capabilities as well. Every day we add more out of the box capabilities to the product. So because of that, customers are more like, I want to try this.
Go ahead, Wendy.
And I think we've seen a 40% increase in engagement on ITSM Adapter. So as a global team who's working across multiple Citrix customers in different segments, we're really seeing a huge uptake in our customers making use, testing it, POCing it, and engaging and delivering ITSM Adapter to their Citrix workforce.
Excellent. So you mentioned cost earlier. And obviously costs are top of mind a lot. You mentioned cost savings, right? So on in the internal support side, where can this service help? What exactly are like the cost savings that customers can realize if they implement this service?
Yeah, and I think that is a good question, and I think you're right. It's top of mind for every organization that we work with, and it really comes in two different flavors. From a Citrix and an IT perspective, we're able to reduce the amount of help desks cases that are being logged and created, because we're automatically able to resolve those by providing, as I said, self-service to our end users through their virtual agent, or they can create a ticket in ServiceNow and it will automatically resolve the issue instantly. But on the other side, we also then have a better user experience for our end users, because they're no longer having to spend time on a phone. They're no longer having to wait for an IT help desk person to get back to them to get an issue resolved, to be continued working in their working day. So it really increases productivity. So I think not only are we reducing, support costs, but we're also improving productivity at the same time. So it's a twofold, I think, benefit.
And I think we've all been there, even ourselves, right? It's on the other end
Sure
of
have.
those support calls. So, it,
Well, that's it, Steve. Just to add on that, like, I think it can take up to 45 minutes. I think they say for a ticket to get assigned. Whereas with the automation piece, then you can reduce it down to about 30 seconds. So job done effectively.
Yeah, that's great.
And just think about that. If that's a couple of times a month for an end user, that's a few hours we're probably saving,
Right.
depending on
Exactly.
how much you can remember things. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Putting control back on them.
So, there's been a couple mentions of integration, out of the box features. So how difficult is it to integrate this service with ServiceNow?
Steve, so straightforward is the answer. So I mean, obviously, then once you have the certain prereqs in place, either side, from a licensing point of view, the integration process itself is very straightforward. I think we say a couple of hours normally, but nothing major. Very, very straightforward. As I said, just a couple of steps you need to perform on the ServiceNow side as an admin, and then obviously over on the Citrix Cloud portal, just generating an OAuth connection between the two. And
is there anything specific from the ServiceNow side, like from the entitlement piece, that we need, or is it again, not
the orchestrator? The orchestrator is the main piece. I think Amir touched on it earlier on in terms of from a licensing point of view of ServiceNow. I think there's the licensing requirement that you have access to be able to install the orchestrator plugin on the ServiceNow side. But on the ServiceNow side, then obviously we have that Citrix ITSM plugin. That's again, it's just an app you download within the ServiceNow side. You connect the two tenants, and that's it. That ServiceNow plugin is there's no customization to it. As I said earlier on, out of the box workflows are all built into it, ready to go.
Seems like we everyone should be doing it.
Yeah, it's no, definitely, because I mean, myself and Wendy were at a user group meeting there recently, and as I said, there was, one of the customers came up and like he has ServiceNow in place, and understanding then more about what ITSM did, he was kind of thinking, this is something I need to configure quick.
I always like those aha moments, right? Because I mean, I still have those, right? Yeah, moment. It's like you hear something, it's like, well, I'm using this technology. Wait a minute, I can do this. Like, I love those. Those are great.
Yeah, and it impacts is that it makes a huge impact, obviously, to the user experience as well. So I think he was really kind of hooked on that as well. What he can.
That's awesome.
What
about on the administration side? Obviously there's some monitoring and things like that. What sort of alerts or notifications can we provide with the ITSM adapter service?
Yeah, so again, just within that Citrix plugin that I mentioned that you install within the ServiceNow side, you've got the 4 buckets, if you want to call it that. You've got ADM, Cloud Status, CVADs, and the other one is Amir. What's the other one? I've got ADM. If I didn't say it already. So so the 4 buckets effectively, and they're the alerts that get pulled in. So they're ready to go, like, in that sense. And then obviously then you can have policies that you can affect in terms of what alerts are pulled in.
And what about like reporting for like what end users are requesting or things like that? Like, is there statistics around that?
There is. It's actually a great feature, and again, is something that came up with a customer that the question was asked: how do they look back on user requests or automated user requests that are coming through? There is, again, within that Citrix plugin, you can go in and you can select statistics. So over a monthly period, let's say, you can go in and you can take a look and see what's the highest specific user requests that are coming through. For example, like the common one being the reset session. So in a pie chart, you can see then that's the most common. And again, a great visual in terms of being able to maybe look at it from a cost point of view, and when you factor in that, taking those requests that are coming through, let's say a frontline engineer or a frontline help desk, very, very visual in that sense, but equally as well, the ability to be able to maybe produce reports to push up into upper management to show that, cost savings visually as well.
Yeah, and
go ahead, Amir.
Yeah, and to add a little more on that, just think about this statistics and for capacity planning, and not from an infrastructure standpoint, more for your help desk team. If you have a real historic number of your most common issues, probably that your end users are just calling help desk, and you have your representative just resetting sessions all over the time, and it takes 5 hours a day for each help desk representative just killing sessions. It's going to represent a cost saving if you automate this with ServiceNow and ITSM and Citrix. So that's part of the cost reduction topics that we were discussing before. And with this report option that Antoine mentioned, it would give you all the information that what a specific user, what application it's having issues. So you can prevent, be proactive and say, you know what, probably some of my infrastructure, some of my workload is having issues because historically my service is down, or my customers are complaining about this specific issue. So it will give me more visibility on how to have a healthy infrastructure for my end users. Because at the end of the day, the most important thing is the end user experience. And yeah.
Sorry, Mary. Yeah, I was just going to say equally as well. You can see then where the who's logging the most requests.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think that's a
you don't want to be on that list, right?
No, you don't want to be on that list. And end users can put a good word on you or complain about Citrix.
Yep.
Yeah. And you know what? You make a great point, Amir.
Go ahead, Wendy.
Sorry, Steve. Oh, apologies. I was just going to say, I think Amir makes a great point, but just because we're automating stuff and we're automating actions, if there's trends within the environment that need to be addressed, then we can still view and see those in the reporting infrastructure and the reports that we have here. So just because we're resolving them in seconds rather than minutes and things like that, I think it's still really beneficial for end user experience, as Amir has said, to understand exactly what's happening in the environment. So I think that's a really good point, Amir.
Makes sense. Yeah. No, it is. So we're running out of time, but I do have 2 more questions I want to ask you guys before we have to end. First one is, what's the most common question that you are asked about this service?
Wow. What does ITSM stand for? It's probably the first one that comes to mind. IT service management is the answer. But yeah, that probably that's for me. That's what I got to ask. Yeah, what does Citrix ITSM stand for? I don't know, Amir, Wendy, what's your?
Yeah, definitely.
I agree.
That's a good one.
Sure.
It just keep things simple. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Is there a feature that you guys like the best about it? Like, what's your favorite feature?
You know what?
Virtual agent is mine.
MCS automation, virtual agent. There you go. There are so many.
I like to just. Well, yeah, that's the thing. Where I mean, probably could do another 10, 15 minutes here, Steve, on that topic alone. But no, one that jumps to mind is, a quick one really. Well, there's the chatbot. I really like that feature when the user logs in and they can reset the session rather than kind of going click, click, click. They can do the chatbot option. Equally, another one I like as well is the ability to customize and put in knowledge-based articles as well within that Citrix portal as well, just to sort of maybe guide users on
Awesome.
Some documentation or relevant stuff like that. So they're two that jump to mind.
So my last question is: so if I'm a customer and I'm sitting here listening to this podcast, and I'm like, this sounds like the greatest thing since sliced bread. How do I get my hands on this? And where can I go learn more?
The short answer: reach out your account team, the PSC organization. I don't know, Wendy.
Yeah.
I would say reach out to my manager first.
I think if you are a current Citrix admin, the ITSM adapter is a tile inside of your management studio. So absolutely go in there, check it out. Create a trial, reach out to your account team. We do have some resources that we can share, and I think Steve, you might do that shortly.
We are, yeah.
With anyone who's listening. But yeah, that's what I would say is check out your console, check out your account team, and ask for a demo.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Just to point out, on YouTube there is some ITSM demos, so like that gives the examples of some of those workflows in operation, the reset sessions and different things like that. They're all available on YouTube as well, so you can kind of get an initial flavor of it, and then obviously talk to
awesome.
One of us.
Yeah, and I think that's the Citrix YouTube channel, so which I'm very familiar with. So
that's it. Yeah.
Well, guys, thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day. I think it's a great conversation. Obviously, I'm not a everyday user of where I would need this, but like I am excited to hear about the service, right? And it sounds like it can be really powerful. If you're listening and you are interested in getting more information on the ITSM adapter service, one of the things that you can do today is you can head over to the MyCUGC website and check out the great presentation that Amir and Antoin gave earlier this year at one of the CUGC meetings. And Wendy kind of dropped a little hint before, but keep your eyes on Tech Zone as well, because Amir is working on a ITSM adapter POC guide that can help you kind of get things set up. So until next time, this has been the Click Down.